The Galactic Council had never seen a species quite like humans. When Earth joined the interstellar community 50 years ago, they arrived with open arms, eager smiles, and an inexplicable warning: we're not always this kind. The council delegates have laughed it off as charming human modesty. After all, here was a species that had barely mastered faster-than-light travel, yet immediately shared their medical breakthroughs, their art, their music, and their most valuable resource, chocolate. They mediated conflicts between ancient enemies. They volunteered for disaster relief on worlds they'd never heard of. They adopted orphaned aliens and raised them as their own. Remarkable creatures, Council Elder Trell noted in his observations. Perhaps the most benevolent species we've encountered in 10,000 cycles. Ambassador Mike Thompson just smiled politely whenever such compliments came his way. You're seeing us at our best, he would say. We're not always this kind. The warning became something of a running joke among the galactic species. Some alien comedians even worked it into their routines. The humans never objected, just smiled that same tight smile. Then came the Draxon incursion. The Draxon horde had existed on the fringes of known space for centuries. Isolationist, territorial, and dangerous, but contained. Until they weren't. Their first strike caught 3 peaceful worlds by surprise, leaving billions dead and refugees streaming toward Council space. The Council deliberated. They sent diplomatic entreaties. They issued stern warnings. They deployed peacekeeping forces that retreated under fire. The Draxons kept advancing, and the refugees kept coming. We need to hit back, Thompson argued in the emergency session. Hard. Now. Elder Trell raised his upper limbs in a calming gesture. Ambassador, the Council does not hit back. We have procedures for conflict resolution that have served us for millennia. Your procedures aren't working, Thompson said. The Draxons see restraint as weakness. Perhaps humans could send additional humanitarian aid, suggested Ambassador Vreen. Your people are so good at that. Thompson's face hardened. I've been trying to tell you for 50 years. We're not always this kind. The Council chose procedural delay. The humans chose action. When the Earth Defense Fleet emerged at the border of Draxon space, the Council was shocked. Humans had hidden the true extent of their military capabilities. The ships were unlike the brightly colored, clearly marked vessels humans used for trade and exploration. These were matte black, angular, and bristling with weapon systems the Council's analysts couldn't even identify. The distress signals from Council ships observing the border went silent within hours. 3 days later, Thompson requested an emergency council session. He looked tired but resolute. The Draxon threat has been neutralized, he announced to the stunned chamber. Their military capabilities have been reduced. Their leadership has agreed to immediate unconditional withdrawal from all occupied territories. What have you done? Elder Trell's voice shook. There were billions of Draxon civilians in that sector. They're fine, Thompson said flatly. We targeted military installations only, precisely, efficiently, he paused. But they know we could have done otherwise. The recordings from the battle made their way through Council space, despite human attempts to suppress them. What they revealed changed the galaxy's understanding of humanity forever. The human ships had moved with terrifying coordination, exploiting weaknesses no one knew existed in Draxon defenses. Their weapons had demolished battle stations that had stood for centuries. And when Draxon commanders had attempted to use civilian settlements as shields, humans had somehow extracted their targets with surgical precision, leaving civilian structures intact while military assets burned. Most disturbing was the audio. Human commanders spoke to each other not with rage, but with cold, calculated precision. There was no hatred, no bloodlust, just ruthless efficiency. Target acquired. Confirmed kill. Moving to next objective. It was the language of predators. In the following weeks, 3 other aggressive species that had been testing Council borders quietly withdrew their forces and requested new diplomatic talks. The Council chamber was subdued when Thompson next appeared. The friendly diplomat they thought they knew now seemed like a thin facade over something ancient and dangerous. I've been trying to be honest with you all along, he told them. Humans aren't naturally the gentle creatures you've seen. We've worked hard to become this way. When we arrived here, We were only a century removed from nearly destroying ourselves. We've learned to be better. He spread his hands, but we never forgot how to fight. Why didn't you show us this side of you before? Asked a shaken elder Trell. Because we didn't want to be feared. We wanted to be valued for our compassion, not our capacity for violence. Thompson sighed. In our history, the most dangerous human societies were those that glorified war. We chose a different path, but we kept the knowledge, just in case. The galaxy adjusted to this new understanding. Human medical teams still arrived first at disaster sites. Human artists still created works that moved alien hearts. Human diplomats still mediated with patience and wisdom. But no one laughed anymore when humans said, "We're not always this kind." They understood now that humanity's kindness wasn't a weakness. It was a choice made by a species that could be terrifyingly effective when that kindness was rejected. The universe had learned what humans knew all along. There is nothing more dangerous than a predator that has chosen to be gentle until it chooses otherwise.